Oh, hi guys. Great to see everyone. Can you guys see my my share screen? Say yes. Yes. Awesome. So today we're here for Brain Trust, best practices for tech interviews and getting hired. Hi everyone. So excited to see you. Just going to give everyone one more 30 seconds to come in. Hello, Natalia. Hello, Delia. Hi, Samir. Hello, everyone. Great. Masha, how many people do we have now live?
We have 150 right now.
Right. Hi, Shirley. I like your name, Shirley. Hi. Wow, people from Denver, from Pakistan. Very nice to see you. All right, let's officially start. My name is Shirley Yang. I'm a builder of the Brain Trust Network. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today to talk about best practices for tech interviews and getting hired with Wagma Rampa. We have a global audience today, as always. So we want to know who you are and what your disciplines are. Everyone's very talented in their own roles. We love to know who's with us. So please, in the chat, drop not just where you're from, but also your role. So, for example, product manager, Chicago, or designer, Los Angeles. We want to know who's in the room. Brain Trust is the first decentralized talent network connecting highly skilled tech talent with the world's leading brands and most exciting startups. We're a community of over 400,000 talented professionals that's earned over $180 million through quality jobs on the platform. There is actually a live dashboard. Masha's going to drop in the chat, info.app.usebraintrust.com. If you go there, you can see the network stats as they update. I don't know how many couple hours. It shows how much the network has earned in GSV. So that's gross service value, and that's how much the whole network has earned as a community. And also how much B-Trust is being distributed to the community live, as well as the average market rates for your skill set. So it's super handy to take a look how you compare to the rest of the Brain Trust talents. Now, off to our agenda. Super excited to have Wagma here with us, and including you have a chance to win a one-on-one coaching session with her, which will announce the winner at the end of the session. So make sure you stay till the very end to see who wins. And I'll also tell you about the $5,000 B-Trust contest that's happening right now after the Q&A portion. And as we progress through today's chat, if you have more questions for Wagma, please post your questions on the Career Help feed on Brain Trust with the hashtag AMA and hashtag tech interview. And we'll circle back and try to get those answered. And Masha will also be posting that URL in the chat for you to go post. And finally, I'll also be spotlighting some new jobs from clients such as Spotify and more on the Brain Trust platform. So stay tuned for that. Without further ado, super excited. Our guest today, Wagma Rampa, has been a founder and recruiter for the past 20 years. Wagma, please give us a brief introduction of yourself and your company.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for the opportunity. As Shirley mentioned, I've been in this industry for quite some time now, and it's been a wonderful career. I started my career working for one of the largest staffing firms in the world, and then moved on to a mid-sized staffing firm. And then after some years, I decided to start my own boutique firm called Relive Consulting. And we specialize at Relive Consulting in executive search and all positions that fall under product lifecycle, both on contract and full-time basis. And people ask me all the time, why did you start your own company? And I'm very passionate about it is because I wanted to take everything I'd learned from a very large company to mid-size to bring it in and be able to work with a smaller number of clients, really customize our approach and create an environment where we have really good customer service and good experiences for both our clients and candidates. So it's been an amazing journey, and I'm really, really glad to be here, be a business owner.
Thank you, Wagma. And I see in the chat, people are saying congratulations for
Oh,
your
thank you.
success so far. And we're really honored to have you today. And so let's dive right in. How this is going to work is we have questions from the community that you saw that were posted on the career chat feed. So I'm just pulling questions directly from talent so we can go over together. The first one is from Pablo. So this is a question about interview pitfalls, especially for product leadership interview or even the whole hiring process. What are some common pitfalls that you see people probably don't even know that they do?
Sure. I mean, I work with my clients on the client side when I do see pitfalls, and the most common ones are, disorganization. Everybody's so busy, but once they bring in someone for the interview process, there's not a structured way of interviewing. And then, a lot of people have vested interest in interviewing. For example, a VP of product. Like if there's a VP of engineering, they might want to gear more towards someone that is more technical versus a VP of UX who might want them to be more on the creative side. So it's really, really important for a company to avoid these pitfalls and have a cohesive plan on hiring. And also if they're bringing in someone in a leadership capacity, it's really important for them to assess a cultural fit and also making sure that they are a good leader that's going to come in and have a lot of impact on their company. So having a lot of behavioral questions during the interview process is going to help them doing that. And then I would say on the candidate side, I always tell people to be very self-aware, kind of read the room, read, the person who's interviewing to kind of go along with their tone. A lot of leaders are very proud of their accomplishments. So it's, sometimes hard because they keep go, on and on about stuff. So it's important to have really good communication skills and be able to express, the thought process of the roadmap that you're going to bring in, the strategies that you're going to implement to make their products successful. So good communication skills. If you don't have that, it's a huge, huge pitfall. So definitely practicing, your answers and, talking about your accomplishments and failures is really important.
Okay, thank you. So a quick summary on the talent side is, especially at the leadership executive level for product interviews, your tone matters no matter how senior you are. Don't brag. People
Yes.
like humble people. We know you do amazing things, but hey, let's still be good human, right? And also communication. Don't go on and on with your stories. Be concise. Be able to describe exactly what you did and remember what you're talking about without being verbose.
Exactly. And what you've done in the past is a really great indication of what you're going to be doing. So being able to be concise and putting those in words that people can follow is important.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Moving on, another top 3 traits of a portfolio that will get the applicant an automatic interview. So I don't think there's such a thing as an automatic interview. Maybe this person is asking something that will score you a higher chance of getting the attention and wanting you to call someone.
Yeah, sounds like this question is coming from a UX researcher. So let's say that, the portfolio is more on the creative side. I would say you will have a really higher chance of getting an interview if you've worked on the same types of products, same types of projects. For example, if you worked for, competitor of the company you're interviewing with, they're always very interested to talk with you just to kind of get ideas of how things are done. Another thing would be to have a very clean portfolio. I see a lot of portfolios where you click on an image. There's a lot of beautiful images, but you click on it, but there's nothing in there. It doesn't tell you about what project it was, what your specific contribution was, what you did, what did the product look like before, what your thought process was, not only including the wireframes, but also including the thought process, your notes on, the impact on the product at the end. So it takes a little bit of time, but, it really makes a big difference. So I would suggest really putting that time to make that more personalized and not only beautiful, but, for the portfolio to have a lot of good information.
So thank you. And I want to underscore, you said something about personalized. Does that mean, and we'll get back to this part, kind of feels like people are applying to hundreds and hundreds of places a month. Some people have expressed to me a spray and pray approach. How do you personalize hundreds of applications? It's just not realistic. Would you say there are different categories? So maybe you have 3 different portfolios. Maybe you can go into that a little bit to help us understand, how do you put in that personalization without wasting so much time?
Well, I would say with a portfolio on the, creative side, there's not a lot of personalization you can do. You've worked on the projects that you've worked on. Most of the time, it doesn't really matter for clients, what types of projects you've worked on. They just want to know your thought process and what you've done and how you've, overcome different obstacles and what the impact of that was on the project. And I'm only talking, if you're, in the creative side. But if you're talking about like a resume, a lot of people, submit their resumes to hundreds of jobs and, there's nothing in return. And for that, I would say you would have to customize a little bit, take a few key points from the job. And then, if you do have the experience, add those to your resume. And the easiest way to do this, and guys, everybody's talking about ChatGPT, cut and paste the job description and say, what are the main 3 points? And if you do have experience with those, then add those, in your resume. I think that's the easiest way to do it. It takes a few minutes, and it shouldn't be that hard. But if you do want a positive response back, it's important to customize your resume, unless you are applying to the same types of positions that require the same set, skill sets.
Okay. And another, to round that question out would be, let's say in my portfolio resume, you talked about people are looking for talent who have worked on the same type of project and product. So is it more important that I show let's say there are 10 things that I want to show, and then 8 of them or 6 of them are directly relevant, and then 4 of them are not? Do I leave that in, or do I take it out?
Are you talking about having different skill sets and
projects that are not necessarily directly related to the job I'm applying to? Is it better for me to show all of me, or just the me that matters to this role?
Well, I guess what it matters to the role, emphasizing those. But, I'm saying if your resume is 6 pages long and you've, included everything on the face of the earth on your resume, that's probably not, most of the time it doesn't really go well. If your resume is 3 pages and you can fit everything in, I think it's fine. But, you have to have a plan when you're applying to a job to see what the client's looking for. Obviously, they emphasize it a few times of what, the skill sets that are important to them. So maybe adding those more, adding those skill sets with the projects you've done, the jobs that you've done, and things that are not relevant, maybe, cutting them off if your resume is too long. But relevancy is going to get your foot in the door.
Relevancy. Yeah, that's
skill set wise.
Yes. Next question, Patrina. How to survive being instantly eliminated by the HR boss if you're over 40 years old? So I'm going to paraphrase, okay? If Patricia, you're here, or Patrina, sorry, feel free to elaborate. But I assume this is two parts. I see it. One, is there like, what is the age? Is there an ageist feeling here? If let's say I'm 40 and I'm applying to a project manager, product manager, whereas I feel like a lot of people are hiring product managers for at a younger age, am I going to be somehow eliminated? Or number two, do I not think about that? Um, what are the considerations, I suppose, when you're filtering resumes and you look at people's ages? Let's just leave it as that.
Well, first of all, can we all agree that 40 is not old?
I agree.
Uh, but Patrina, if you are concerned about ageism, I would maybe make some tweaks to your resume. I would take out the year you graduated from college, maybe take out some positions earlier in your career that are not relevant to your career path. Making those little tweaks, and I think those will help. You know, I wish that there wasn't ageism, but I think it does exist. But my motto at Iridium Consulting is that we are going to present the best candidate for the job. So networking, talking with people, sharing your experiences, I think will get you your foot in the door.
Okay, thank you. Next one from Ben. So it's talking about technology, and I alluded to this a little bit earlier. It feels like people are applying to hundreds of places, and recruiters are filtering through hundreds of applications. There's always technology. It's getting easier. There are AI bots to scan resumes, and he says easy Apple buttons to say yes or reject someone really quickly. Is this ever going to change? I mean, hopefully that's how it feels. But I also know there are people like you, why you broke out to do more boutique recruiting is to get away from something like this. So can you help us understand sort of what's the light of the end of the tunnel? And also, even if it feels like we're spraying and praying right now, how do I navigate to other avenues such as yourself?
Yeah, this is a question that could be, it's very frustrating for a lot of people as technology advances. Obviously, when folks are applying for jobs, it seems like it's going into a black hole, and I don't know who has access to this black hole, but the resumes seem to disappear. It could be very, very frustrating. I would say, you know, the human touch, I hope it doesn't go away. We believe in Iridium Consulting that it makes a huge difference. We have to embrace obviously technology. I think along with HR bots that are looking for buzzwords in resumes and then rejecting or accepting. I think there's going to be skill assessments that are going to come across. Companies are going to implement that where you're going to have to do a little short quiz, skill assessments, and I think that would be helpful at some point. But surely, like you mentioned, working with boutique firms where, we have established relationships with clients. We not only submit resumes to the client portals, but, we take the initiative to write up a summary of why we think the person is a good fit technically, culturally, and send it directly to our hiring managers. So that way, we get feedback directly on why they're a good fit, yay, no, whatever it is. And, we try to close the loop that way. So we have to embrace technology, take the good and the bad. I think at the end, it will be great with advancements with AI. But, the personal touch is definitely going to be helpful in networking and being your own advocate.
Right. So Um, it's almost like a concurrent path. You take, yes, you have the hundreds of applications, the easy apply buttons, but at the same time, you don't just do that. You also want to look for people like boutique firms, recruiters, and networking. Because essentially recruiters, I'm seeing your firm is a filter, right? And if a client goes to you, they would trust whoever you send more at a higher level than whatever application anyone can submit through the internet. So in a sense, you're the gatekeeper for them. And as a talent, you sort of have to navigate both and work with recruiters. I mean, out of curiosity, how many people in the chat have worked or try to reach out to recruiters, boutique firms, besides just applying to jobs online?
Yeah, this would be interesting.
Yeah.
Now I feel like it's with technology, it's easy to ping people, right? You could search for a company, who's
Yeah.
hiring, who the recruiters are, and
Yeah.
ping them directly. So,
Uh-huh. Okay. So
okay.
there are some not, probably 60-40, it looks like. But
Yeah.
also they're saying some recruiters don't respond. So why don't we pivot this question, Wagma?
Yes.
How should you position yourself so that you get a response from recruiter? I imagine what you get a lot is, this is who I am and this is my resume. Get me a job.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
what's a better way to get a response from a recruiter?
Most likely I would look at someone's resume because I do get hundreds of resumes. If they ping me on LinkedIn saying, hey, I just responded to this position. This is why I think I am a good match. Just give me something, right? You sell yourself. Always be selling. Give me a few pointers of what the job description was looking for and why you would be a good fit. So if I have those nuggets, most likely I will go and take a look at the job, your resume, and respond to say yes, that makes sense, or we're gonna pass.
So
So that's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, lead you to where they want to be and why you should respond, the human touch that you said, other
Yeah.
than just sending over their resumes.
And be persistent, right? Like, be your own advocate. Reach out to people. If you're applying at a company and you know someone, I'm saying no, by knowing someone, I mean like it's your neighbor's neighbor or your, son's teacher, or whoever it is. You can
Yeah.
tap them on the shoulder and kind of get an idea of how to best showcase your resume so it gets seen and you at least get a first interview
Yeah.
with them.
I mean, I'm seeing it's hard, right? Because people are doing these things. We're talking about the talent in the brain trust. We're seasoned 10, 20 years professionals, done this many times, still not getting responses. We write the intro text, we send everything, but it's just hard right now. I mean, if
Yes.
we can all just pause and recognize that and acknowledge that, not saying if you do everything that Wagma says, you're going to get a job, but it's just, this is a reality, right? So let's just, we'll admit to that and know that's what's happening, and everyone's sort of in the same boat. And Wagma, I think it would be great for people to connect with you on LinkedIn. And I see some people asking who she's hiring for. Wagma didn't tell me her clients. I know some of them are confidential. So feel free to reach out to her and see what type of position she's hiring for. And hopefully that will be a good lead for everyone here. And maybe just my personal thought, what I would do is look at your connections and see how I can find other recruiters and sort of repeat and do the same thing and just try something different than just applying online, right?
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yeah, I mean, it's very frustrating. People used to get jobs, a couple years, a couple months max, but now it seems like it's 4 months, 6 months, even longer, and that could really demoralize someone. So kind of having a pep talk with yourself, be kind to yourself, go in with the growth mindset. With every job
Yeah.
interview, you learn something. So
Yeah.
it's really important. Yeah.
And I think just having the grace and understanding and forgiving yourself and know, hey, this time it's not me, it's the market. I am that great. I mean, look at what I've done before and just sort of give yourself a break and know everyone is, it's tough for everyone. Okay, next
Yes.
question. Love to get some insights on tips on how to best showcase the value of certification in projects versus real work experience during an interview. Um, they've heard that your profile is great, but you don't have experience in this or that. So really it's like, how do you balance the two? And what happens if you have a certification in something, but haven't necessarily exhibit that in a job scenario?
Yeah, I mean, this is really tough, right? Like, I really value higher education and certifications, but if you don't have the work experience, it's really hard to get your foot in the door. So, in this instance, I would suggest having a really good pitch, having a good story of why it was important for you to get those certifications instead of, going the usual route and getting experience. Be very transparent about that. Highlight your certifications, and then address your learning curve, like what those are, and how would that impact the jobs that you're applying for, and then highlight the transferable skills. Even though you don't have the skill, but what is your plan, or what you've learned, or if you've volunteered, or if you've done any projects, or even in school, how did you overcome those, or what did you learn? So this is going to take practice to just kind of have a really good story, good pitch, about people giving you a chance to go in and apply for those jobs and interview.
Okay, thank you. If anyone has follow-up questions, because I see people can relate to that, feel free to reply to Caroline on the feed. We have some responses. I like Justin's response, and we can continue the conversation there. Okay, next question from Raphael. So again, same sentiment, guys. It's highly competitive job market. I saw Gabe in the chat say applying to a job is going to be the most emotionally strenuous thing in life right now. Where you have hundreds of applications for a single position. How can one break through and make a stand against all the candidates with even better portfolio CV? Often enough, I see myself applying to dozens of positions with no interview invitations whatsoever. What would be the most common application errors to avoid?
You would be surprised, but I would say make sure that there's no spelling errors, there's no grammar errors. I'm ESL, English as a second language, and if I could find those errors, then someone that is hiring is going to easily find those. So that's really important. And I was actually reading a really interesting research that MIT had done, and it was two people that had very similar resumes, similar type of experience, and similar education levels. And they sent out these resumes to see, who got called out for interviews. And it was the resume that was short and concise and clear, and really highlighted the person's accomplishments of personally what they did at each project. So investing time to really work on your resume, making sure that it showcases your skill sets, is really, really important. It sounds really simple, but it makes a big difference. Again, really customizing your resume to what the job is looking for, that's going to increase your chances. And then, I won't get tired of saying this, you have to network, you have to be your advocate. It's easy to start a brand, go on LinkedIn, contribute to articles, get involved in the community. Most of the time, those types of interactions lead to some leads that you could follow up on. So you got to do something that not everybody else is doing, right? Because it's easy to click a button and submit your resume and pray for them to respond. So those are some of the suggestions that I come to mind.
Yeah, so it's almost like you have to do something a little outside the box now, since everyone can click an easy submit button. I like
Yeah.
what you said about contributing to LinkedIn discussions, or even somehow stand out, because we Google everyone, right? And people get
Yeah.
Googled. People see what you're writing on LinkedIn or social media or whatever it is. They'll see your footprint. There are some of us that are more introverted and don't have that, but still have nice portfolios that are, I don't know, either published or linked to or cited somewhere. So I think that's interesting to think about. I like Daniel, who just messaged hosts and panelists, apply in two parts. One, tailor your resume, walk away for 30 minutes. Two, proofread and edit. So don't just sit there after 3 hours of editing and submit. Give yourself a break, come back with fresh eyes, and continue to do that.
Yeah.
What you're saying is really reminding me, sort of like, finding a job is like dating, right? They say applying to a job is like dating. Right now, everyone's swiping right, right. Or
Yeah.
sorry, swiping left. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know which way it goes. But you're just swiping, hoping for a match. But really, there's on the apps. But then there's also matchmakers, right? Like recruiters, which provide that more personal touch. And then there are other avenues, such as actually going out there to meet people
Yeah.
and network and presenting yourself. So really, it's like there are different avenues that we have to look for, and it is a grind, but we just have to know that it's a grind, and there are different things. Try different avenues.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, you just have to do as much as you can.
Great. So we have another question from Larry is a recent grad. I thought we would give some time to someone who just graduated. He just graduated in December with degree in CS, been applying to tons of jobs, but nothing hearing back. What are some, I guess, tips you have for recent grads with very little experience?
Yeah, it's really tough out there for recent graduates. But, people that are still in college or recently graduated, if they have access to the job fairs that, go on at their schools, I think it's important to go there. There might be opportunities to do some internships or learn about the companies. Another important pointer is to reach out to the alumni of your school. I mean, who doesn't have a soft spot for, the college, someone that went to the same college as you? Um, Contributing, if you, it sounds like they're computer science, contribute to GitHub projects, get involved in coding, uh, seminars and competitions, network with the rest of the people you have graduated with. People always pass on leads. It might not be good fit for them, but they might pass it along to you. um, and I've noticed with the graduates now, it's hard for them to pick up the phone and make phone calls, but you could still network by through LinkedIn, or ask your past teachers. A lot of people reach out to them with job opportunities. um, just kind of put your hustling pants on. You got to get out there and try different things to get your name out there, and then have a good pitch, and like I mentioned before, a good story why they should give you an opportunity over 10 other people that are out there. And that really takes some time and experience to come up with a really good pitch that showcases not only your technical skills, but also the way you communicate, and the way you come across. So people are really interested in a full package, not only being technical, but understanding the whole side of the business side of the companies, and also being able to showcase your skill sets verbally.
Thank you. So those were the questions. So I have more questions actually about your process, Wagma, because people are really interested in your role as a recruiter. When you present candidates to clients, do they, let's say you present 3, does it ever surprise you who they pick of the 3? And what are some qualities that you can think of are the reasons for the people who are chosen?
One of the questions that I ask, because I could look at a job description and you could look at the job description, we both might get different things that are important, right? It's just, from your perspective. So I specifically ask my clients, what are the top 3 things you're looking for? Or, when you look at a resume, where does your eye go first, right? Some managers might say, hey, I want to see where they graduated from. Like, school is important to me, or I want to know if they've worked at, the FANGs, or if they've worked for startups. So um, sometimes, I do get surprised, but every person that I submit, I've, cross-checked those specific areas that they've looked for, and highlighting, that they're a good match in those areas, and then also giving them my perspective of why they would be a good match from their reference checks, or, from cultural fit of what I think. So um, that doesn't really happen a lot. We don't bombard our clients with a ton of resumes. Most we submit are 2 to 3. So they're very focused, and that takes a lot of time
Okay.
to filter through those.
Thank you. And a final question for the community before we move on to Brain Trust jobs that I want to spotlight here. There's one theme that people are asking about. What if we have a career gap? If, let's say, we took some time off, someone said a 10-year gap. I don't think, like, most people probably take 6 months or like a year, or even someone in the chat today said, what if they had 2 short-term contract jobs because of life circumstances? Is it better just to leave that off, or like how to better present myself on the resume? Do I not show the gap?
Yeah.
Or B, do I add it and then somehow explain it in my cover letter? Or what's how can I best shine or not shine light on that?
No, I say shine light on it. Be transparent. The more transparent you are, the better. Because you don't want people going through your resume and saying, hey, why you haven't worked in the last 10 years. So having a story of why you took, it doesn't have to be personal, but the reason you took time off. But what did you do during that time off? Did you had an opportunity to volunteer? Did you work on your brand? And all of those things help. So I would say be transparent. Have a good story, and also, if you are having a hard time, there's a lot of companies that do have back to work types of internships, or re-internships as they call them, where you could research and apply, like Verizon's of the world, IBM's, JP Morgan Chase, Workday. They have really good programs where they could put you through like a few weeks boot camp, and then either you get a job there or they refer you to other opportunities. So being transparent. But if you if you were a working person, obviously, and you took a gap, you do have that knowledge and experience and the relationships before you left. So tapping into those relationships, your old colleagues, your boss, your boss's boss, most likely in the 10 years they've moved on to so many other companies. So you have, all those avenues to explore. And I would say 70% of the time, people do get jobs if they had some type of relationship with the coworker. They get referred and they get a job that way, because they, what type of person you are, your work ethic. And that's a really good way for people to network.
Thank you, Wagma.
Mhm.
And we have so many questions. I mean, just coming from my perspective, there's no way we can really feel like, hey, I feel better now after the session, after everything
Yeah.
that's going on. Not in the short hour that we have together. I would say hey, let's connect with Wagma on LinkedIn. This is the conversation starter. Let's continue to learn. We're all here in the same boat. We're all here. We want the same thing. That's why we're here. This is not a solve all session at all. It's a conversation starter. Let's build a relationship with Wagma and people like her, as well as with one another. So, next we're going to look at jobs on Brain Trust. But I do want to recognize and I want to call out. I understand you probably feel like, hey, there's so much more I want to know, and my answers are not answered right now. And I know that, and I understand that, and I think we all feel the same way. But thank you for being here. I mean, you showed up, and give yourself that grace and know that, hey, this is another step towards the right direction. Okay. So if anything, let's take away with that. Okay. And feeling that, I'm going to move on to the jobs on Brain Trust. Okay. So the first one is customer success manager, account manager with Spotify. This is a contract job. It's a hybrid role. I think they want you to be in at least once a week in the office. And Masha is going to drop the link in the chat so you can apply directly. The second one is engineering manager at Wayward. This is also a hybrid role. I like hybrid, right? Before it's like remote, and now it's like, hey, hybrid is nice because you can actually meet who your coworkers are, but you're not chained to the desk, right? You get to go in and maybe have a meeting once a week, do a stand-up once a week. So I like the idea of hybrid. Someone with startup and or new product launch experience working on products that are both business and consumer facing. This is a Wayward job, preferably in social media, e-commerce, and marketplace environment. Another one that we have up here is engineering director at Child Mind Institute, which I find really interesting. It's a remote job, work from anywhere in the US. Comp is flexible depending on experience. Technical product architect at Visor. It's a remote job as well. And then lastly, we have a job from Microsoft, Power Platform and Power Pages developer. And this job is work from anywhere in the world. And please remember, hey, if you're not a good fit, and these are just some of the jobs that sales team asked me to highlight. If you're not a good fit for the role, but know someone who could be, or maybe, just as future reference, whenever you refer someone to a job and they get hired, you get 1% of their billings. Okay, so make sure you use your referral link from your Brain Trust profile. We've had people just have great passive income from referring people and getting hired. And speaking of referrals, really excited to talk to you guys about a 5K B-Trust contest. Hey, if you're not earning income, why don't you win some money anyway? So how do you win? Basically, it's a contest that's happening right now in the Brain Trust community. Now through September 30th, whoever refers the most verified clients with a referral link will earn an additional $5,000 B-Trust. Winner will be announced on October 2nd on the Brain Trust career feed. You'll earn up to $100K in B-Trust for every client you refer. All of the clients that you talk to, hey, maybe to have them come on to Brain Trust, right? If they didn't hire you, that means they already said no. Have them hire someone else, and you still make money off of them. Why not? And you can earn up to $100,000 in B-Trust from every client you refer. And your personalized referral link is from your Earn dashboard in your Brain Trust profile. Okay, so Wagma, I'm so excited. And you are so generous. Thank you so much for agreeing to provide this one-on-one coaching session. And everyone here, just so you know, we thought, okay, what would be the most valuable thing Wagma can provide, right? Because we're all in this together. She can't guarantee you a job, but she could give her a gift that's unique to her, which is her time. And so everyone who participated in this this coaching session. Thank you. Wagma, I'll turn it to you. The participation rules were you had to ask a question in the career feed and be live here today. We have one winner. And go ahead, Wagma.
Okay, where's the drum roll? Masha. Okay, and the winner is it going to come through?
It's Scott.
Okay, it's Scott. I don't have the last name.
It's Scott Johnstone.
Okay, Scott Johnstone. Perfect. I look forward to meeting you.
Hi, Scott. You won. Congratulations. And those who didn't win today, don't worry. Guess what? Because did we like this? Do we want to do this again? Say yes. Do we like it? Do we like winning stuff? Yes. Okay, great. So if we like it, we actually have another tech recruiter coming up as a speaker, and I'll ask him for everyone's like, please, let's do another coaching session, and we'll get another chance, or maybe we'll do something else so more people can win things. But thank you so much, everyone. I mean, this was really incredible. You showed up today. You spend your time with us. Again, this is a conversation starter. This is just the beginning with Wagma. And if you've been with Brain Trust, we're here as a community. Let's support one another on the career feed. And thank yourself for today.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Like Shirley said, beginning of a conversation, reach out to me with any questions. Happy to connect. And if I could give any referrals or anything, I'd be happy to do that.
Oh, I'm sure you can. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Wagma. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.